What's up, guys? My name is Allie. If you're new here, hello. We live in this off-grid cabin in the woods of Kentucky, and now we're having a baby. Crazy, crazy stuff. If you've been here, hello. I can't wait to share all the details with you if you're interested. This is going to be a TMI video. I'm going to share it all. If that's not what you're interested in, I would click out now because I'm going to share everything that I've learned along the way. I'm about 13 weeks pregnant today, which is insane. So first trimester, check. I can't believe it. I had a doctor's appointment today. All is well with baby and I, and it's just insane that we're even here. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Really helps me out, really helps my channel, and I really, really appreciate it. So I asked you guys to submit questions on my Instagram. If you don't follow me, totally follow me here. That's where you get the daily updates. I'm on all the time talking about life, but you guys submitted so many great questions, and so I'm going to give you all the details. I've also written throughout this process a lot. I wrote things down as I experienced them. So I did like a lot of journaling, little blog posts, and I have a website, but I have not published it yet. So I plan to do that here in the near future so you can get what I was thinking in the moment. I read through some of them so everything was fresh, and I'm going to just share the entire experience with you all so that you can learn a little bit more what it might be like for you. This was my personal experience, so let's just get started. So for backstory, I'm 24. I'll be 25 in October, and Dylan and I have been together since we were 15. We've been dating since we were 16, I guess, and so it's been a while. And we just moved into this cabin in January, and we're living off the grid, ran off of solar and rainwater and wood, and we love it. We love our lifestyle, and this is what we've always dreamed of, and we're living it now. It's just surreal. I've always been baby crazy. Like, give me a baby at any point in time. I'm ready to have a baby. All I've ever known I've wanted is to be a mom. Even in college classes and like clubs and things, they'd be like, if you like, what is your purpose? Like, what, if you could do anything, what would you do? And I'm just like, I want to be a mother. That's all I know that I want to do. So I've just always been the type that wants to have babies, and I couldn't wait for the day. Dylan, on the other hand, has always been like, we need to wait. Like, he's like 28, 27, 28. We can have babies. Like, we need to live our life first. Blah, 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 blah. So I've just always waited. I'd never wanted to like pressure Dylan into having a baby before he was ready. I wanted to be a joint decision where we're both ready, because I'm not doing this by myself. So I just said, okay, like I'll wait until you're ready, because I don't want him to regret it or for any reason at all. So I've just been waiting. I joke about it all the time, and it's not that we would be upset if we ever had a baby, but it was just never the right time. So, Christmas Day, flashback. Christmas Day, Dylan, we were at Dylan's parents' house, and we were watching a Christmas movie in the living room with everyone, and Dylan texts me from across the room, and he says, let's have a baby. And I was like, oh, what? Are you okay? Like, do you have a fever? Is everything all right? And I was just shocked. And he said, let's have a baby. Or he said, let's not try, but let's not try. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh my God, the best day of my life. Christmas Day. Perfect. And so that day, or I don't think I'd stopped taking my birth control. So I'd been on birth control for forever, and I finally just got to stop taking birth control. And so a little backstory on that, like I've always had a really hard time finding a birth control that had worked for me. The pill, when I was younger, I used it for a while, and then I started getting my period twice a month, which was miserable. So then I tried a couple different things. I got an IUD at one point. That was terrible. I could feel it in my uterus. It was terrible. And so I got that removed and went back on the pill. I was like, I just give up, like, just put me on the pill, it's fine. And so I had been on the pill ever since. I was getting periods twice a month still, and I was so worried. I'm like, I'm probably dropping 2 eggs a month. Like, I'm going to run out of eggs. And I thought maybe I might have a hard time getting pregnant because I've always had so much trouble with my period and things like that. So anyways, I was just so happy to get off of birth control in the first place. That just was such a relief. I stopped taking birth control Christmas Day. And then Dylan stated clearly, we're not trying, we're just not preventing, okay? So that can mean different things. Like, the thing is, if you are a self-aware person, or if you like track your period at all, like I use the Flow app to track my period to see when it's coming and just being prepared, then you know when your period is. And if you use an app like that, it'll tell you when you're ovulating. So if you go that route, knowing when you're ovulating, that's the only time in the month, from what I understand, that you can get pregnant. So that's what they should teach you when you're 12 and you get your period for the first time, is that you get your period, and around like 12 to 14 days after, you're going to ovulate, and that's when you can get pregnant. And then after that, it's another 2 weeks, and then you get your period again. And so if you know when you're ovulating and you know when you're having sex, then it's very hard to not be aware of what you're doing. So I tried to not pay attention to it at all, but it was a thing where I was still aware of if we were around the ovulation date, if we were within the time frame. And so saying we weren't trying but we're not preventing, you're still more aware than you think you are, which is something that I learned that I never thought about prior to having a baby or thinking about having a baby. So that's something that I learned. But with that being said, having sex while you're ovulating, then every month you think, I'm pregnant, you're told your whole life you have unprotected sex, then you're gonna get pregnant. And so every month when your period would roll around, or when my period would roll around, I'd be like, we would joke around that I was pregnant, and it was just so exciting. And it was really, really exciting at first to just experience it. And it's just so fun. I recommend it for everyone. No, but it's a really fun time, like with your partner, because it's just so exciting and it's a new experience. And so it's really something to look forward to and have fun with. So then your period does show up and you're like, all right, well, I'm not pregnant. And then you don't take for granted all the things that you wouldn't be able to do if you were pregnant. And you're like, you appreciate everything again. And you're like, no problem. Like, I can do another month. I can do another month of this, no problem. So it's a very big roller coaster. It's like, oh my gosh, like, I might be pregnant. I think we're pregnant. We're definitely pregnant. Nope, we're not pregnant. Okay, that's fine. No problem. So you just got to ride the waves. I got off of birth control December 25th. And then I didn't get pregnant until it counts as like May 20th. So, which would be the first day of my last period, which is something weird also, how they count the months and weeks. But there was a lot of weeks or months in between where my period was late. So my period was like 3 days late, but I wasn't pregnant, which was just bizarre, and real trickery going on there with my body. And so, my period would just be like late, and I'd take a pregnancy test and it would say negative, and I'd just wait. But like for those 3 days, like I'm like, oh, I'm definitely pregnant. So it was just definitely a roller coaster of highs and lows, because you get so excited, you think you're pregnant, and then you're not. And so then it just becomes a cycle of like, well, will I ever get pregnant? Or like in March, I was like, if I'm pregnant this month, my baby's due on Christmas Day, and that will be the worst thing ever. I don't want to do that to my child. I'll be so upset if I'm pregnant. And so it's a big old roller coaster of emotions through the entire experience. But then you're pregnant. So when you find out you're pregnant, so I found out at 4 weeks, because like we were checking all the time. So my period was 1 day late, and I went in the morning and took a pregnancy test, like early in the morning. First pee, you gotta use your first pee in the morning, take your pregnancy test. and it just looked negative. So I was like, all right, another month, no problem. Threw it away, went up back to bed, fell asleep again. And then I woke up again, probably like 9 or something like that. And I go to pee, and then I pull it out of the trash can and I look at it, and I just see the faintest line, like the faintest line ever. I was like, that is something. Like, if there's any second line, like, that means something. So I was like, what? Like, this can't be happening. This is real. This is not real. Oh my gosh. And so, I didn't know what to do. I was too excited to go back to sleep. Dylan's upstairs snoring away. And so I just hid it under the sink. And the next day was Father's Day. So I was like, oh, I could wait and like take another one tomorrow and like surprise him. But it was the weekend and we were going to go like float in the pond all day. And I just didn't think that I could like hold it in all day, that we were having a baby. And so I just paced back and forth and waited for him to wake up, and waited and waited and waited and waited. And like, I was going to record his reaction and everything. And he finally wakes up. He comes downstairs. I got the camera rolling. I got the pregnancy test beside me. And he comes downstairs. He's butt-ass naked. And I can't film it, obviously. And then I'm like, what do you think this means? And he's like, I don't see anything. I was like, excuse me? He's like, I don't see anything. Like, there's no line there. I was like, there is the faintest line. Like, do you know what that means? He's like, I don't believe it. And so we had already been through waves of emotion, like I've said, through the past months. So he was very wary of this faint line. But me knowing that, like, any second line is something. And so he didn't believe it, and he's reading the directions all morning, has me take another one of the same type of test.
You need to get better tests.
It's exactly the same. And so then we go throughout our day, and he picks up one that says like pregnant or not pregnant at the store. And so we were just making dinner, and he's like, just go take it now. I'm like, all right. So I go take it, and he literally flips it over and it says pregnant. And he is the most shocked he's ever been in his whole life. I wasn't ready. I am like, obviously, like, I've been pregnant all day. What do you mean? And he was so shocked, like, he could not fathom it.
What? What?
And so it was just so funny. It was hilarious just watching his reaction, and it was just like crazy. So that is the story of how we found out, how we decided we were ready, how we conceived, and all the steps leading up to actually getting pregnant. So it took us like 5 months. I knew it would take some time. I wasn't going to worry about it. I wasn't going to fret. Wasn't going to stress myself out. I was like, it'll happen when it's supposed to, when my body is ready, when the timing is right, all will come together. I mean, there was waves in between that of emotion and sadness and excitement, but it all happened just like it's supposed to, as it always does. And so that's the first part of the story. Then we are pregnant. And like I said, I journaled through this, like all the big stuff. And so I'm just going to save that for some blog posts. So be on the lookout for that. I'll try to get it together here soon, because I think it is good to share. I like really share my actual emotions in the moment and what it really feels like. So one of the biggest one is like early symptoms. Like, did you have any early symptoms that you knew? So since we found out so early, literally at 4 weeks, there was no symptoms that I noticed ahead of time. The quickest symptom that I did notice was my boobs hurt so bad. Your boobs just grow so fast, and they're just aching and just growing, and they just don't stop. And so that was definitely the first thing I noticed. It just like my boobs hurt really bad. I didn't really get any nausea for like a couple weeks, I don't think. I can't remember exactly, but I'm lucky I haven't been like bedridden, nauseous, or like feeling sick all day or anything like that. I was exhausted for some time. I can take a nap at any point in time. I can lay my head down and fall asleep. But my nausea has been mostly like smells. My sense of smell is so strong. I can smell anything. I can smell like if Dylan's wearing a cologne I don't like, if the trash is over on the other side of the yard, I can smell it. Like I can smell anything, and some things really get me. Like I got a new car air freshener. I went and sat in my car in the morning, and I just like had this huge gag, and I was like, I'm gonna throw up. I need that out of my car right this second. So Dylan like had to dive in the car and get my air freshener out because I couldn't stand the smell of it. So different smells will get me, and they're different at any point in time. It's not like any one thing. It's just like if it's too strong of a smell, I don't want it near me at all. And it's lots of gagging. I've thrown up twice now, I think. One, I ate one of my mom's fresh like eggs from her chickens, and I guess there's a difference between pasteurized eggs and eggs straight out of the chicken. That threw up immediately. That did not sit well at all. And then another one was Dylan and I fought for so long if I'm allowed to have pepperoni pizza. And he said, no, you're not allowed to have pepperoni pizza. And I said, yes, I am. If it's heated up to 500 degrees, I will be fine. Sat down, ate myself a personal sized pepperoni pizza. It was delicious. Ate the last piece, sat on the couch. I said, I do not feel good. Got up, ran to the bathroom. I threw up the entire pizza. I haven't been terribly nauseous. Now in the morning, I try to eat as soon as I get up, and I think that helps. And also like it took me like at first, like it would take me like 30 minutes to get through like a half of a bagel. Like it was just painful eating because you just don't want anything. Nothing sounds good. I didn't have an appetite for any food at all really, and it was a pain to even eat. But I cannot complain because I know a lot of people have it a lot worse. I was not sick. I went to work every day and didn't ever have a problem. So I'm very grateful for that. Okay, cravings. I had at first, like, you don't really have an appetite for anything, so you're not craving anything, at least for me, other than fried chicken. Like any type of fried chicken. Like I want chicken nuggets. I want KFC. Like any fried chicken sounds so good all the time. I just want fried chicken and like greasy food, cheesy mac and cheese, like just fatty food sounds so good. And so that's the only craving I really have had so far, but I'm hoping I get some like weird ones along the way in the future. How'd you know you were ready? So this is obviously going to be different for everyone, but up until really now, I don't think Dylan and I have ever felt ready because we were in college, and then we were living in Florida and we hated living in Florida, and then we've been renovating this cabin for over a year, and so there's never like a time when we felt ready, but we have been together for so long that we knew like if we ever had a baby, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Like our relationship is really, really strong, and that was never an issue, but we never felt settled in a place where we would want to raise a child, which has been like our biggest thing. So like I said, I've always been ready, it's felt like, but I asked Dylan what made him feel like he was ready to have a baby, and it was actually a really cute answer. And so we had just been home for Christmas for, like actually we were living at home, so we were at home, but everyone came to visit. My brother and sister-in-law have a baby. Dylan's brother has 3 babies now, and so we're just surrounded by babies all Christmas, which is just so fun, And so Dylan said what did it for him was that like our sister-in-law, Rachel, whom we love dearly, she is an amazing, amazing mom, and she has 3 kids. She just got her master's degree, and she just does it all. Like you just fit kids into your life. There's no perfect time to have a baby. You can make your life whatever you want it to be as long as you work hard towards your goals. And so Dylan said one of his biggest realizations was seeing that there's no perfect time to have a baby, and that you can still achieve new things while having children. So that I think did it for Dylan. But we're also in a place in our life where we feel settled, we have a home, we have jobs that we enjoy. Actually, we weren't even moved in at that point. We weren't even moved into the cabin. Dylan's like, yeah, we're ready. So I'm glad it kind of took the time that it did to get where we are, because it was the perfect timing, because now we feel settled and now we have like jobs that we enjoy, and a baby will fit in perfectly fine. But so for finances, I know that we'll be able to keep working after we have children and things like that. So I feel sure in that aspect. And I'm also trying to grow my YouTube and my Instagram and my TikTok and things like that. That will hopefully keep bringing in more money as they grow. And then we just have money saved, so we feel pretty secure. And plus, if you don't spend a lot of money on a baby, then they aren't that expensive for like the first year or so. I plan on breastfeeding. I might try out reusable diapers. We'll see how it goes. Maybe like a little 60-40 on reusable diapers. And then, I mean, we don't have a nursery to decorate or anything like that. And so they'll be upstairs in the loft with us, which is a huge question I'll dive into. But for finances, like, I'm not worried about a huge burden within this first year or so. And we have plans to grow our income, and we aren't in debt. And so I feel secure bringing a life into the world. I think we'll be able to afford to keep it alive. With that, so many questions on cabin updates. What are we gonna do? Where are we gonna put this baby at? Are we gonna move? Is off-grid life over? And no. So I've just planned for like the first year or two, I'm gonna get like one of those little bedside bassinets, have the baby up there with us in the loft. There are definitely upgrades we need to do. Like, we need a railing up there. We're gonna put in loft like storage along the walls. We're actually doing that this weekend. And then another major thing that I want to do is I want to finish our hardwood floors. So they are done, but they aren't finished. Like, there's no coating on top of the floor. So it's literally like a dust floor. Like, there's no sealant or anything. So like if you try to mop the floor, it just like absorbs all the water. And so that really bothers me, because like I can't lay on the floor, like I don't feel comfortable, like it's just so dusty. So we're gonna finish the floors is the biggest thing that I want to get done. We're gonna put up a railing in the loft and put in that storage, have it nice and organized up there. And then we're gonna get a washer and dryer. And those are the main things that I want to get done before a baby arrives to this household. Other than that, there's like some things here and there, like I want to get a new cabinet, I'm gonna get a new like rocking chair, but those are like really minuscule things. And we might get a new wood stove, because we lose so much heat through the windows, which we're gonna seal our windows this year with that plastic. And then I'm also gonna hang curtains so we don't lose as much heat through the windows. But just like little things like that, preparing for baby. And but no major renovations as of yet. Literally 5 minutes after I told my dad that I was pregnant, he is walking around the cabin like, we'll just build straight back, like we'll just go straight back here. I'm like, just everyone chill out. We're not doing any renovations at the moment. We're just enjoying what we have. Our house is plenty big enough for a tiny little burrito baby. They will not know the difference. It'll be just fine. If anything, the first thing we'll do is build out a deck so that our living space goes that way outside. That would be wonderful. Maybe like a little covered porch. But I'm not ready for any major renovations. We're just healing from the last ones, and we just need to finish what we started in here. Okay, gender reveal. So originally, if I waited until like the ultrasound gender reveal, I wouldn't know until October 6th. But I went to the doctor today, and she asked if I wanted to do like I think it's called an NIPT test, which is like a chromosomal test to test for any like abnormalities in our chromosomes, and both like Dylan's and mine and the baby. And so with that test, it's a blood test, and they also they'll be able to tell the gender of the baby. So I think we're gonna find out early, because I called my insurance and it's covered. So we're gonna find out here soon. I don't know what we're gonna do though, because I really want to find out like with family and do some sort of gender reveal with everyone. But like, there's no plans in the near future to be going there, and you literally find out within a week, and I could get the test tomorrow. So like, I don't know what to do, and I don't even feel like I'm ready to know the gender. But Dylan's like, all in, like, let's go tomorrow. We gotta find out what this baby is. But I'm just like, ah! It's so real once you know if it's a boy or a girl. It's crazy. So then everyone was like, do you think it's a boy or a girl? Like, what do you think? So Dylan, as soon as we found out, he's like, I just had a sense that it's a boy. And then now he's like, now that time goes on, maybe it's a girl. He might feel like it's a girl. I have just always felt like I would be a boy mom. Like, I've just, like, every time I played baby dolls when I was little, like, I only had boys. I've just always leaned towards boys. I don't know why. If I was a tomboy growing up, I was just always a boy, just, you know, boy aura coming from me. So I will be shocked. I won't be shocked. Like, I'll just be like, total mindset shift if it's a girl. I would love a girl too. I'm like, either way, I'm the happiest person ever. I can't wait to find out, to have that like mindset shift where I'm just like, oh my gosh, we're going to have a tiny little girl or boy, and then just like imagining them as a baby and as a toddler and growing up, and like what personality traits from me and what personality traits from Dylan. And it's just so exciting because, like, when you think about it, like, your literal favorite person in the entire universe and your like family and your parents, all of that put into another human, and like you hope it's all your favorite things from all those people. Maybe it's not, but still everything comes from the people you love. And it's gonna make a little tiny baby, and it's gonna be so cute, and it's gonna be so fun. And just like, you think of everything differently, like how you'll talk to your baby, how you'll like teach them things, you'll teach them. You see how other people parent their children, you take from it what you will, see what you like and what you don't like. And it's just crazy, and I'm so excited. Okay, so then another question was like all the things that they don't tell you. And I think the biggest thing for me personally was that right after we found out like we were pregnant, like that day, like that night, I just had this overwhelming feeling of like, now what? Like, it was just like kind of scary and kind of like, it's too soon to it. I just didn't let myself get excited, which I hate, and I was very aware of, and that I tried to not do. But it's so hard to let yourself get excited, especially so early on. You're just like, is this even real? Like, am I actually pregnant? How do you know? Is there anything in there? Like, what, you just don't know. And so I called that next day or whatever to get an appointment, and they didn't want to see me till 10 weeks pregnant. So I had to wait a whole nother 6 weeks to even get any confirmation of what's going on. And so I had a really hard time like letting myself get excited. And then I also had a really hard time like no one knowing, not sharing it on like social media or YouTube or things like that, and filming videos and not talking about it. And it can just be really lonely in that first portion. For some people, it's like really special with them and their partner and that sort of thing. But it's not that I felt isolated. It's just like, I'm just like a talkative person. I couldn't tell anyone at work. I hate keeping secrets, and it was so hard for me. And then your hormones are just like, whoo, crazy. And so there was like a 3-week period where I felt completely depressed. Like, I felt like I could not feel joy, and I was just so upset. But I was like very vocal about it with Dylan, and like we talk about stuff like that all the time, and I would just be like, I just feel like I cannot feel joy, like nothing is making me happy. And I was just having a really hard time. And so I just tried to like decrease my screen time and like go for walks and read and that sort of thing. And I would meditate, I would do yoga, I would journal. But sometimes you're just in a slump and you just got to ride the wave. And so that's what I did, and we came out on the other side, luckily. And so as we told like family and friends, it got more and more exciting, and it didn't really feel real until like we really went to that doctor's appointment. We got an ultrasound, and even after that, it was like a high of emotion, and then it can like slump back down after, and you're just like, is this really happening? Like, it's just hard to really fathom that it's even happening. And you're just like, when is it too soon? Like, I wanted to like download the pregnancy app. So like, when do you start to make a registry? When do you think about a baby shower? Like, things just felt too soon for a lot of the time at the beginning. And so I just like sat waiting, like what do I do now? And so that was hard for me. It's just something I experienced, probably not something everyone experiences, but that was like a realization for me. Okay, another question people asked was baby names. And I don't think I will tell the name for a while at least, maybe not till they're born. I've had a list of names on my phone since I was probably had a phone, maybe 16. I've had this list going. Dylan hates all of my names because I like really, really weird names. I just think they're so fun and unique, and I had a weird name growing up. My name was Alberta Jeanette Deschamps. And so it's just fun to have a fun name, you know? And so we'll see. Dylan is set on a boy name, completely set. Like, he just screams it all the time, screams it around the house. He talks to him. He says his name all the time. And so, like, I feel like we got to go with that. I mean, I liked it. It was on my list, so I can't be upset about it. But I just wasn't ready to be sure of a name that quickly. And then if it's a girl, we have like one that we like, but I just don't know. It's just crazy. And then Dylan says no middle name, and I don't know about that either, because although middle names are virtually pointless, they're still fun. Like, you got to yell at your kid and say their middle name. So we'll see about that. Another one is, someone said, like, what does it feel like? Does it feel like you're just bloated all the time? It doesn't feel like you're just bloated all the time. You are just bloated all the time. So, like, when I wake up in the morning, I look pretty normal. Like, I'm already a small person, so I'll just have, like, a little, you know, in the morning. But, like, by the afternoon, after you've eaten, like, this isn't even bad at all. I had McDonald's, but this is 13 weeks, and it's just so weird, and it's hard and squishy, and it's so fun. Like, I just cannot wait to have a huge belly, and I cannot wait. And so that is so fun. Sometimes I'll just eat things that make me bloated just so I can look in the mirror and see a pregnant belly. And then I'm due at the end of February, so that was another question. When am I due? And some say the February 24th, 27th, around there, end of February 2022. It's crazy that, like, I'm 3 months pregnant, so we got 6 months left, which is just insane. But I think I shared it all. I think I've shared most everything. If I didn't, leave a comment down below and I will share that too. Also, if you found me from this video and you want to see, like, how we built this, I got a playlist right here from literally the idea of moving off the grid to every single project, every trip down here. We used to live in Florida, working corporate jobs 1 year ago, a little over a year ago now. But we just, you know, made it happen, made our dreams come true. And so I recorded it for YouTube if you want to check it out. But I appreciate you all sharing this journey with me. I'm so excited, if you can't tell. I wonder how many times I've said excited. But we're just taking it one day at a time. Time is moving quickly now, that everyone knows. I've just dreamed of sharing this experience. It's all I've ever wanted, and so I'm really excited. But I appreciate you watching this video. If you have any other questions, leave them down below. Follow me on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram, and I post once a week on YouTube, so you'll still see me every week. Sundays, sometimes twice a week, rarely, sometimes. But we do off-grid projects and off-grid living, day in the life, some pottery splashed in there, and now baby stuff. So thank you so much for being here. I look forward to the future we have together and sharing this journey with you all. And I hope you have a wonderful day. See you later.